This has been an exciting year for motorcycle enthusiasts with a host of new launches making waves. 2024 has been the year of retro designs, small capacity machines, new platforms and exciting technologies. What we got here is the top 10 contenders and we aim to find out which one of these has been really pushing the bar this year. Reliance General Insurance presents Autocar India Awards 2025 with tyre partner Vredestein Tyres, premium fuel partner Indian Oil XP95, safety solutions partner Rosemerita, DMS technology partner Orbitsys and associate partner NRB Bearings.
The Autocar India Bike of the Year award is reserved for brand new motorcycles manufactured in India in the past year. The winner needs to be an all-new product and is judged on multiple parameters including performance, design, value for money, and the ownership experience. Special consideration is also given to bikes that elevate their segment or the motorcycling world as a whole. For a bike to win this award, it needs to be a fresh and exciting product, but it must also offer an appealing overall package that excels at its intended role. The full list of this year's contenders are Aprilia RS 457, Bajaj Freedom 125, Bajaj Pulsar N125, Bajaj Pulsar NS 400Z, BSA Gold Star 650, Hero Mavrick 440, Hero Xtreme 125R, Husqvarna Svartpillen 401, Husqvarna with Pillen 250, Jawa 350, Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450, Royal Enfield Shotgun 650, Triumph Speed T4. We've narrowed this list down to the top contenders for the jurors to pick from. But before we get to the process, let's meet our jury members. Our jury is represented by experts within their respective fields. These are motorcyclists with decades of combined experience who have a keen insight into the current state of the market as well as average customers' needs and desires from the bikes they buy. Roshni is one of the most famous figures in the Indian racing scene and a valued member of our jury. He is India's most successful motorcycle racer to date, having won 11 racing championships in India as well as international superbike championships in Malaysia and Qatar. Joining Rajni, we also have Rishad Modi, editor bikes, and Zaran Modi, assistant editor brand and content at Autocar India. Before we begin the riding evaluation, the jurors take a closer look at the bikes and discuss what they feel are the strong points in this year's list of contenders.
You've seen the bikes, now have your say on the winners. Vote for the bike of the year and stand a chance to present the Viewers' Choice Award at the Autocar Awards in Mumbai on December 10th. Details in the pinned comment.
With that out of the way, it's time to hop on the bikes, start evaluating and finally get down to scoring these motorcycles. This year's lineup is all about premium machines, but across various engine sizes. Let's hear what the jurors think, starting with the first of the smaller capacity 125cc motorcycles, the new Bajaj N125.
I think one of the biggest things working in the favor of the Pulsar N125 is the interesting styling going on here. I like some of the attention to detail and things like these floating panels. To see that sort of stuff on a 125 is quite impressive. In terms of the riding experience, I think the smoothness of the engine is what shines through most, but beyond that you'd want a little more character in something like this. It doesn't feel as engaging or interesting to ride as something like, say, the Hero Xtreme 125 that's also with us.
Yeah, the Bajaj made you can say like a very smooth engine, but I feel still maybe something can do for the stylish and stylish part mainly. And in the bike is very smooth, rideable, the body position, everything is very good, and the sitting position, everything very good. But I feel something miss, maybe you can make some more future, but you can say okay this bike.
The N125 is a brand new product and it is impressive in many ways. But it is also facing some serious competition from bikes like the next 125cc motorcycle in our list, the Hero Xtreme 125R.
The Xtreme 125 has been on sale for quite a few months now and it's gone on to sell 25-30,000 units a month almost. It's a huge success for Hero and you can just look at it and understand why. Great looking motorcycle but also fun to ride, has ABS and is good value for money. It's a winner.
Yeah, Xtreme 125, you can feel the look way is awesome. The riding position very good and you can feel like a more stylish bike and good to buy.
From the Hero, we move on to yet another 125cc machine. But this is a motorcycle unlike anything the world has seen so far. That's because the Bajaj Freedom is the world's first CNG-powered production motorcycle.
To be honest, if you were to sit on this and not be told it's a CNG motorcycle, you probably would not be able to tell, and I think that's the biggest praise you can give. The engine's really smooth here. Even when you switch between fuels, it's quite smooth. This is a great first attempt. They seem to have unlocked some untapped potential in the market. There's a lot of research that's gone into this bike, and overall, I quite admire the effort. I like the bike itself. Makes for a great 125cc commuter, and for the sort of people riding this, the cost savings that it gives you, that's going to be the real USP.
Yeah, first time riding CNG bike. Little funny also because when you're changing petrol to CNG, the power is totally different. Always the power drop is lot, and when you're changing the petrol to CNG, but 100% there people are expecting mileage. Okay, the mileage means you can take on cheaper cost.
So the Bajaj Freedom CNG definitely isn't very fun to ride, especially compared to some of the motorcycles we have here today. This feels very much like a normal commuter, and I mean that in a good way because there is a massive heavy CNG tank sitting high up here, and somehow Bajaj has made all of this feel normal. That's a good thing. Then you have the fact that it's priced at about 95 to 1 lakh rupees, just like any premium 125cc commuter, and it costs so much less than a petrol bike to run. Bajaj really has created a game changer here.
That's the last of the 125s for this year, and we now jump by almost 3 times in cubic capacity to the new Jawa 350.
If there was an award for most improved, this Jawa would probably take it. It's always been a stunning looking thing, but the earlier engine was a real weak point. Now that they moved from the 293 to this new 334cc motor, it's been a big improvement in terms of the riding experience as well. And I think it's now really got the riding experience to match the good looks. Really quite an impressive motorcycle.
The move to this bigger 334cc engine has really done wonders for this motorcycle, and I like the fact that Jawa has reduced the power and gone after more mid-range. It's really improved the experience of riding the bike, especially in traffic, and the refinement is much better. Overall, much nicer bike to ride than before, but the company still really has a lot of work to do to improve its reputation for after-sales quality and reliability.
From the 334cc, we now climb to the 399cc, and while the Triumph Speed T4 you see here may look very similar to the Speed 400 that we had last year, the changes are actually bigger than you might think.
The Speed T4 is an unusual case of definitely giving you less but also giving you a better experience. On the one hand, there is a lot of stuff on this bike that is missing that's on the Speed 400, and the Speed 400 is only 25,000 rupees more, so most people are going to be tempted to buy that bike. But on the other hand, this engine is really nice to ride in traffic in the real world. It's actually a much calmer, more torquey experience than the Speed 400, and from a pure riding perspective, I like this bike more.
I think this is the thinking man's Triumph 400 because on pure bragging rides alone, you can probably get a lot more with the Speed 400 for not a lot more money. But the important thing here is the heavier crank on this engine has really changed the nature of how this bike feels. The urgency that some people might find a little excessive on the Speed 400 now feels like a nice mellow linear spread of torque across the rev range. This is a very pleasant bike to ride both in the city and out on the highway. And in terms of riding experience, I think this has the upper hand over the Speed 400.
From one Bajaj built 400, we move to another. And just like the Speed T4, the new NS400 is all about giving you maximum bang for your buck, although this bike takes it to the next level.
The bigger CC you will get it that price, and obviously a lot of youngsters will like this bike.
This is definitely the nicest bike that Bajaj has put its own badge on around this 373cc engine, which is to say it's an improvement over the Dominar, but the market itself has also improved a great deal since then. So if you want the maximum displacement, horsepower and top speed for a given amount of money, this is the bike for you. But beyond that, in terms of riding experience, I found it hard to single out a particular remarkable aspect. Yes, it's got a lot of horsepower for the price. If that's what you're after, this is the bike for you. Beyond that, there is other more exciting, lesser displacement bikes in this price bracket that you can look at.
After the two liquid-cooled 400s, we move up in capacity to a 440. But this is a different sort of engine, and one that is focused more on torque, sound and feeling than outright performance. Here's what the jurors thought about the Hero Mavrick 440.
The definite highlight of this motorcycle for me is that engine. You just start it up, you sit on the bike, and it feels like a large, thumpy, raw feeling engine, and that is very nice. And this engine has proved itself in the Harley Davidson. Phenomenal mid-range, Really nice old school feeling motor. The rest of the motorcycle on its own is nice. I mean, there's nothing that it does excellent, but it's a good motorcycle at a good price. The engine is definitely the star.
In typical Hero fashion, the value proposition here is strong. The star of the show with the Mavrick 440 is the engine there. It's the same thing we saw in the X440 last year. So you're talking about a nice meaty 440cc single with a good spread of torque. Around that is a pretty good motorcycle. It rides well, handles well, doesn't do anything exceptionally well, but you won't find too much cause for complaint either. And the price is pretty good for what you're getting.
Climbing up just about 10cc, we arrive at a new 450cc motorcycle that offers a much more sporty riding experience than most people would expect when they look at the name badge on the fuel tank. This is the new Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450.
This bike is based on the Himalayan 450, but riding it, you'd probably feel hard-pressed to tell that because it feels like a lively, fun, engaging motorcycle to ride. The engine itself, in terms of the state of tune they've done here, does feel considerably different to the Himalayan. Feels a lot lighter, easier, more manageable as well. Makes for a great road bike actually. It's quite fun and I like it for that.
It's really quite different from the Himalayan. If someone wants a more modern, sporty riding experience from Royal Enfield, this is the bike that hits the spot.
And now we arrive at what has easily been the most exciting made in India motorcycle of 2024. The new Aprilia RS 457 has been almost universally appreciated, and here's what our jurors thought of it.
Yeah, Aprilia 457 actually I feel the good on the track and good on the road. Especially the more lighter and faster and more stylish. You look, I can say the budget wise also more comfortable to buy. Look like I can say somebody can say this is a 1000cc. Yeah, look like that. I feel only one complaint, the brake. Maybe better brake pad and maybe better master cylinder. Otherwise, no complaint. All this, the look wise also very stylish and sporty, and I love this bike.
What a firecracker of a motorcycle, honestly. It reminds me of the KTM RC390 when it first came out, in the sense that it's really moved the game forwards in this segment the way the KTM did when it first came out. When you talk about the segment, a mid-size sport bike, you're trying to pack big bike feels into a smaller, more budget-friendly package, and I think the Aprilia does that absolutely spectacularly. It makes you feel good, it goes like stink, and it's a great motorcycle.
There is so much to love about this motorcycle, from the way it looks to the sound of that engine to the performance to the handling. I think my complaints are minimal. The braking could be better, which an owner can fix with better pads, maybe a better master cylinder. It's also a very desirable motorcycle. It feels like a big bike. The sound of it, what you feel like when you're sitting on the bike. Aprilia has done a phenomenal job here, and from a sheer riding perspective, this is easily my favorite bike of the year.
And that brings us to the biggest and final bike in our top 10 selection of this year, the BSA Gold Star 650.
In some ways, it just rides like a modern motorcycle. It's not that old school thumper of a big single that you would expect it to be. But when you spend some time with it, it's actually a really charming bike. Phenomenal mid-range performance, better than any other made in India motorcycle, and it's a fun to ride machine in its own way. This is easily the best bike from Classic Legends yet.
Yeah, Gold Star 650, I feel the torque is very, very good, and riding the raw condition of road, I can feel even low end to IM, like the bike is power is awesome. Maybe the style ways also very, very good. I feel good bike.
When you think about the work that the BSA Gold Star has cut out for it, it's going up against the Interceptor 650, a huge sales success at a very similar price as well, one cylinder down. So that is a big mountain to climb, but the first time you step off this bike, you get off thinking, yeah, this is quite a nice motorcycle. And then the more you ride it, the nicer it seems to get. It's really just charming, pleasant to ride. It's not perfect, the suspension throws you around a little, but from what we've experienced so far, quite a nice motorcycle.
With that, we come to the end of another exciting round and going through the best motorcycles of this year. As always, picking a winner will be far from easy, and the final decision will be based on a multitude of carefully deliberated factors. Nevertheless, the scores are now in, and it will be a very short period before we announce the final winners.